Good morning and welcome to our webinar series. So today's webinar is called Counselors and the Alabama Talent Triad, a partnership for success. And I am Troy Thomas, and I'll be leading this webinar today. I am the Director of Business Development for EBSCO Ed and supporting the Alabama Talent Triad. So we have a few goals that we want to accomplish here today. One, and most importantly, is we just want to make sure you have a much better understanding of the talent triad, what the state's trying to accomplish, what we are building this for, and most importantly, the many benefits it can provide to the students that you're working with. The second is what you can do to be an advocate, advocate for those opt-ins being returned from parents, how you can be an advocate for students to get them signed up and to sync their wallets, and then also how you can advocate for any employer partners that you may work with to make sure that they're also signing up to be a partner for the triad and getting their jobs as part of the Alabama Talent Triad as well. And then finally, we're just going to take a quick look at how you can help get the students signed up, how you can sign up for an account, and then also how you can sign up for that case manager, career coach / counselor role within the Alabama Talent Triad. And we'll leave you with some links to some training materials that can help you once you're in and once you're signed up. So why was the Alabama Talent Triad created? Well, back in 2018, the state and Governor Ivey set a goal for the state to add 500,000 additional credentialed Alabamians to the workforce. They did this because they wanted to really help increase that skilled workforce, but also to help increase the labor force participation rate in Alabama. The state really lags behind the national average, and just by adding 1 point to their labor force participation rate, that adds 50,000 Alabamians back into the workforce, which, as you can imagine, that would be a significant economic impact to the state. So in order to do this, the state knew that they needed to create a workforce ecosystem in which employers, education training providers, and students and job seekers could all collaborate and really build that bridge between education and workforce. It also had to be an ecosystem that could bring transparency to what students have earned and learned, and really how that's applicable to the types of jobs and roles that employers are looking to fill by making skills that common denominator. Most people, including myself, right, would have a hard time articulating what they have learned, what they know and can do, but especially high school students, even college age students, and certainly when it comes to job searching and resumes. And there's so much more being offered now in schools in general. There's CTE classes, dual enrollment, clubs, co-ops, internships, apprenticeships, hybrid apprenticeships. They have to complete their college and career readiness indicators, right? And students are gaining skills from all of those, which is great, but it should be accounted for somewhere. And the Alabama Talent Triad is helping make sure that all learning counts, and also making it easier for students to articulate that and be able to get connected to jobs. So it is a talent triad. There are 3 components. One, which we're mostly going to talk about today, is the digital wallet and LER components. That's learning and employment record for students and job seekers. 2 is the skills-based job portal for employers. And then 3 is the credential registry, which is really a place where all the education and training providers across the state can park their certificates, licenses, credentials, degrees, and really unbundle those programs down to the skill level. And this really it's a first in the nation solution, something that Alabama, that every Alabamian should be proud of. Alabama is really leading the way in this effort. We get calls from states all the time asking how can we replicate what you've done? How can you help us build that? So it is super exciting to be part of this, and we're just so proud to be part of this project in the state. So it is a state initiative, and I failed to mention on the last slide. So it is free for every Alabamian, to sign up for that wallet, and then also free for every employer to be part of as well. But even with it being free, the state still knew to have success, they really needed to have investment, really just across the board, right? From government agencies, from education training providers, and from workforce, from the employers. They really needed them to be truly invested into the project. And by investment, I don't mean dollars. What I mean is by engagement and adoption. And the exciting part is that's happening. The Department of Workforce, ALSDE, the community college system, adult education, the chambers of commerce, career centers, and then probably most importantly, workforce, the employers across the state are engaging. They are interoperating, and we have companies from all 16 in-demand industries that are all engaging and have signed up and are putting their jobs in the talent triad. And that's continuing to happen as we just see more and more companies sign up weekly. And with advocates like yourselves, hopefully we can continue to get more companies to sign up and become partners in this great effort. And, we're just so excited to have all the great partners that are already part of this and signed up. So how's it different? What makes the Talent Triad different probably from some of the other solutions you're used to seeing, right? There's LinkedIn, there's Indeed. Your students may have accounts with Smart Resume or any of the other workforce solutions or resume solutions that you may already be using or your students may already be using. Well, one, it's different because it's not an isolated solution. It's not for a particular school district or school system. It's not just for white collar or blue collar employees or employers. It really is a statewide solution for every Alabamian and every employer in the state. Two, it helps create that transparency of what students have learned and earned by making skills the common denominator. Three, it's interoperating directly with the student information systems at the high school and college level, so directly with PowerSchool to validate their credentials for your students, which that is a huge differentiator from LinkedIn and those other solutions where everything right now is mostly self-attested. Four is when your students that you're working with, when they create a wallet in the Alabama Talent Triad, is they're going to be supported through retirement. They don't have to create a wallet in high school. Once they graduate, then create a new wallet in college, and then have a different wallet once they leave college. They're just going to have this one single wallet that is able to interoperate directly with student information systems at high school through college, and it's going to be supported through their retirement, which is super exciting. And then finally, by choosing EBSCO as a partner, the state's going to be able to continue to receive feedback. You guys, as career coaches, as counselors, by working with students, you're probably going to hear feedback from students, what they like, what they don't like. And the great thing is that we can incorporate that. We can make changes. We can customize the solution to make it fit the needs of your students, and more specifically even of how you guys are going to use it to work with your students. So we want that feedback, we want that criticism, continue to bring that forward so we can make this a solution that works for everyone and helps meet the goals really across the state and locally. So on the last slide, I mentioned how it's going to interoperate directly with the student information systems and be able to have those validated learning and employment records. So that's something that's really makes this different. Those learning those learning and employment records are really what allow your students to create those next gen resumes, those skills based resumes that can tell the story of their full educational career, their experiences, and really interpret those and see how the skills and experiences they have in their wallet may be aligned to different career pathways, and also help the employers better understand their educational careers as well. This becomes especially important for students who have developed their skills through a wide range of experiences in the classroom experiences, maybe an apprenticeship, on the job training, or even through the military. Those are all experiences that they've had, and the LER component can really bring to life what they have learned and earned and help keep them prepared for what's next. Maybe they're looking for their first summer job. They're looking for just their first job in general. Maybe they've been in a job for a couple of years and it's not for them and they just want to make a change. By having their digital wallet with their skills, credentials, and all their experiences synced and ready to go, they'll always be prepared for that next step. I find this fascinating, but there's a statistic that says young folks who are newly entering the workforce will change jobs 12 to 16 times throughout their career. So being able to articulate what they know and can do and how those skills are maybe transferable to different industries is really only becoming more and more important. So in addition to all those benefits to the students and job seekers, there's also benefits that the learning and employment records and the Alabama Talent Triad provides to the employers and the state as well. So by providing insight into the state's talent pipeline, the state and employers can better understand where and how they can make additional investments to spur economic growth across the state. Just as a quick example, we attended the Automotive Manufacturers Conference recently, and they indicated they're just looking to expand to build both gas and electric vehicles in the state. The expansion of that industry could bring billions of dollars to Alabama's economy. So having that strong pipeline of students and workers is really imperative to bringing industries like the automotive industry into Alabama, but also growing those industries that are already in the state. We also get weekly calls from employers pretty regularly. They have a job, they're looking to fill it immediately, and they just aren't having success on some of those other solutions. Because what they really need is a solution like the Alabama Talent Triad that centralizes learning and workforce opportunities, really making them easier to find, and is able to recommend and fill those types of needs more organically by being able to make that match based on skills. And then also by bridging that gap between education and workforce and providing that way for industry to signal to education training providers what skills they need, the Alabama Talent Triad can better respond to meet labor market challenges, like any knowledge and skills gaps that may exist. We talked about the LER benefits, but there are also additional benefits that the Alabama Talent Triad is going to provide to your students. One is with those LERs synced, they'll be able to get those personalized recommended career pathways based on the skills and experiences that are in their wallet. And employers today are really placing a lot more emphasis on durable and soft skills as requirements for jobs. So those are skills like communication, leadership, critical thinking, problem solving, time management. All those are skills that can be gained from, really their basic high school curriculum and any extracurriculars, clubs that they're involved in, skills that they are gaining today that should be accounted for. With having a wallet too, they'll also get recognition for real world experiences. Like I mentioned, students are just doing so much more. The co-ops, internships, hybrid apprenticeships. Another example we've seen is the Pathways to Professional Nursing program in Birmingham. There's so many programs like that across the state that I'm sure you guys are helping to connect students to, and those students are getting real world experiences. They're getting real skills from those jobs or from those experiences that can help match them to a job. So just take a quick deep breath, take a moment with me, and just try to imagine an Alabama where every student can articulate what they know and can do and be able to showcase the skills that they have. An Alabama where employers and candidates in Alabama are matched based on the skills of the job seeker and the skills needed for the job, which is only going to help increase the likelihood of a successful match and lead to greater employee retention. And then finally, in Alabama, where the education training providers can signal to the employers what they need, or I'm sorry, where employers can signal to the education and training providers what they need in real time so that those education and training providers can make sure that they're producing the pipeline of talent to meet those needs. I know you've all probably heard or seen the Lion King movie, the Elton John song, Circle of Life. Well, this really is the circle of economic growth for the state and its people. So how can you help to incorporate the Alabama Talent Triad this school year? Well, one is you can encourage parents and students to get that opt-in completed. So there is an opt-in for high school students. The opt-in is what allows them to be able to sync their wallets with those validated credentials from PowerSchool. Those were sent home on September 6th. So make sure to advocate that they get those returned. Even without the opt-in, though, they can still sign up for and get a digital wallet. They can still add experiences. They can still add skills. They can still add credentials. They just won't be able to sync their wallet with PowerSchool. And excuse my stuffiness and my sniffles. I'm having a little bit of a cold this morning. But here's an example of the opt-in letter that was sent home. What else can you do? Make sure that if they're returning that opt-in, or even if they're not, make sure they're signing up for the Alabama Talent Triad wallets. So encourage them to create that account, encourage them to sign up for their wallet. Finally, try to incorporate this into your career planning discussions. How when they're syncing their credentials and they're getting skills or they're adding experiences, what kind of jobs is that recommending to them? What kind of learning opportunities is that recommending to them? If that's not something that's of interest to them, what kind of skills do they need to get jobs recommended for them that are of interest? So work with them within their wallets, try to incorporate into that career planning, and make sure they're using this to really to their best advantage. All right, so how does it work? So it is built for mobile and desktop platforms. So it can be accessed from virtually any device, the cell phone, iPad, any type of desktop. So it'll work from virtually anywhere. So you can go to alabamatalenttriad.com. You can also scan the QR code here on the slide. Once you are at alabamatalenttriad.com, in the middle of the screen, you'll see a button that says sign up. It's free. That'll bring you to this screen or it just requests, some information, first name, last name, email, username, password. So choose your username and password, click sign up, and you have an account. So you guys as case managers or counselors or career coaches, that's how you'll sign up as well. And then I'll show you how to request that career coach or counselor role as part of your account as well. So you and your students will both sign up for an account the same way. And then once you have your account created, you can then create your case manager career coach account. So once you're logged in, up here at the top, you'll see partner sign up and sign up as case manager career coach. So you would click that, and that'll put in a request for you to have that account added to your already created account. Once that is approved and you have been granted the case manager or counselor / career coach account, so you're logged in, you see your account. Over here on the left, you would see your username. You're probably, once you log in, you're going to be logged in as a learner and earner. You can click this up down arrow, and that'll drop down kind of all the different accounts in your wallet. You can find your case manager role or career coach counselor role down here at the bottom. You would select that to begin working in that role. And that'll bring you to a screen that looks like this. You can see this person, this Talent Triad user with the case manager role already has a few students that they're working with. To begin to add new users to your account, you can just click the create new learners. You can actually create that wallet for them, sign up for them, create their login credentials, share those with them, and then you guys can work together to start to build that wallet, add those credentials, add those skills, add those experiences. And then eventually that user will have the ability to remove, once you've completed your role as counselor for them, they can remove you from their account at their own discretion. We'll definitely dive deeper into this and the additional functions of the wallet. So how do you add those credentials? How do you add those skills? How do you add those experiences? And then take that a step further and create that skills-based resume, share that out into the ecosystem, and get connected to jobs. That'll be on our webinar that's tomorrow afternoon, so be sure to join us for that one. Here are some training assets and support links. So I would highly encourage all of you to definitely probably go through all 3 of these trainings. They're self-guided. You'll kind of get to see that from the different perspectives. So student, teacher, and employer perspective. And it would probably be good that you understand kind of all those. There's also some support links here. And you'll be able to find those kind of at the bottom of alabamatalenttriad.com. You'll see there's a whole list of the trainings, webinars, resources, etc. All right, that is all we had for today. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for all that you do for getting the students of Alabama prepared for their careers, for their first jobs. That is something that's so vitally important to them as they're kind of becoming, or graduating from school and going on to that next step in their life. Here is a link to some of our socials. So if you follow those, you'll be able to stay up to date with any information that we're putting out there, and just be able to stay up to date with all the new customizations and different functionalities that we're adding to the Alabama Talent Triad. So thank you again, and be sure to join us tomorrow afternoon for the second part of this webinar. Have a great day.